It's day 17 of RPG a Day for 2015, and today's question is asking us what is our favorite fantasy RPG. Well, neither one of us really has one, but we're trying. We're trying to find an answer to this question, and it hasn't really been easy. I mean, there's the obvious answers. I mean, anybody who follows this channel knows that I really, really like Desolation by Grimalkin Designs. I mean, that was a fantasy game that I really enjoyed to run. I enjoyed being a player. I enjoyed introducing it to other people, and it's great to see them continuing to play it, that kind of thing. So Desolation is way up there. Of course, I've been playing RuneQuest 6th edition for over a year now, and have plans to continue doing so. We're going to try the Mythic Britain campaign setting to see what it's like to run a campaign setting. I haven't done it in decades. And we want to try our hand at RuneQuest with a different set of perspectives, not the kind of approach that I took for the world that we built together, but this one. So a very, very low magic, very grim and probably deadly environment. So, and we're very much looking forward to that. And there may be more RuneQuest in the future with Luther Arkwright campaign. So the rule set, you can see, is very important there, because RuneQuest 6 is a toolkit. It really doesn't come with a setting. And from a certain point of view, I mean, while it's a game, it's a game that expects you to do most of the heavy lifting for what the campaign actually is. So when I talk about Desolation, I find I'm talking mostly about the setting. Yes, it's the Ubiquity system, so it's a system that I already know. But I'm not playing Ubiquity. I'm not playing the system. I'm using the system to play Desolation, which is the setting. And this is the direction that my thoughts took. And so, favorite fantasy role-playing game. I needed to decide if I wanted to go with a setting or if I wanted to go with a system or toward an approach of running a game for fantasy. So that led me to all kinds of thoughts, like maybe I would say Shadowrun was my favorite fantasy game, but then I thought, there's an awful lot more to Shadowrun than just the fantasy elements, and I think I like those elements more than I like the fantasy elements, so maybe I better not use Shadowrun as that example. So what am I going to do? Am I going to say RuneQuest 6 and have everyone go, of course? Well, yeah, actually, I'm going to pick RuneQuest 6. But I will say that if we were talking about setting, then I would go with Desolation. But in terms of a system for running fantasy, any kind of fantasy I may want, with experienced players, intermediate players, or beginners, then I really don't think I could go wrong using RuneQuest. It really will handle the way I will want to run any particular fantasy story. I find it's a really good fit for things like Stormbringer, which I'd like to do a long campaign of someday. And it's a good fit for a low or no magic setting. It's also a good fit for a higher magic setting, and on and on and on. And with all its support for cults and religious organizations and political organizations and brotherhoods and sisterhoods and cultures and the effects of culture and the effects of one's own orientation or passions or needs or loyalties or weaknesses, all of these things baked into the system make planning out your campaign, building a world, and going forward in a fantasy setting pretty easy. So it's pretty hard for me not to pick RuneQuest when I say it that way. But there are a lot of cool fantasy games out there, a lot of which I've enjoyed reading over the last few years as I was trying to basically find RuneQuest. And in the future in the channel, you may hear me talking a lot about all the Warhammer Fantasy that I've been reading lately, but as I haven't played it, it's not really in consideration for this year.